Hey everybody, you know what time it is? I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How's it going, everybody? I hope everybody's doing okay. It's been a freaking madhouse today. It's actually been so bad that my notes didn't even get completed. I barely got started actually. Family just walked out the door, and I've had like a whole bunch of appointments. This is going to be down quick and dirty. Hopefully, some more people come in. I see Demon in the chat saying hello to everybody, and let's get to it. Okay. Just want to let you guys know for this past week, as you know, it's been the requested series about the Cybertronian Wars. Now, in all honesty, I should have done something a little better as far as the title goes, but that's the title I had when I started, and that's what I'm just going to run with. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I've been trying, God help me, I'm trying to give it away so I kind of hint at the certain bots so you guys can guess who it is. And yes, if you know who it is and you put it in the comments, if you're the first one, I will be putting in there as an addition. Congratulations, you're the first one and you got it. So yeah, hopefully I end up naming you guys' favorite bots. I'm trying to stay away from the super big names that are in there, the very obvious ones. Don't worry, they may or may not show up later. I won't say I can confirm or deny if that's planned to be in there. But I can say this, even though it's been busy, like seriously busy today, I was able to get the next one down on paper. I'm actually in the process of recording it right now. So the next one will drop on midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. So you won't be going without that. I've been trying my hardest, guys, to make sure I stay up one per day as hard as I can. That being said, even though I wasn't able to go into the comment sections, a few things you guys threw in there, yes, I have actually touched on it. I didn't say it exactly, but I did touch on it. So it's what it is. That was the reason for the whole series. I mean, aside from just being hopefully a good listen, people like us, people who grew up in the era of Transformers when it came out in 1984, I was what, 3 years old, something like that. And yeah, no, between 4 and 5. Sorry. Anyways, the whole shebang on that one is I'm trying to throw it all into one solid timeline so we can follow it. However, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I'm not touching Beast Machines. That sucked so bad. Holy fuck. That was just bad on so many freaking levels. Okay. The only thing I even got close to was the whole idea of cybernetic plants actually starting to grow, and that is now a food source, very similar to how Earth has it. Now, hopefully, I don't ruin anything, guys. I'm trying to make sure I don't step on my own dick on this one. And I mean, I still got tied to my leg, so hopefully, I don't step on it. Anyway, you guys going to have to let me know if I'm missing the mark on something or if there's something you think I should add. And I got my pen ready and I got my pad ready and I'm ready for you guys to drop it in the comments or drop it into the chat box so I can actually make sure that I get the right stuff in. FYI, when I talked about the Triceratops, their slag, yes, I have to be careful with that word because apparently that in particular will actually shut this stream down because that's an insult over in the, what do they call it, USB, Great Britain. At this point, I'm wondering what's so great about it, but hey, it is what it is. I'm sure they can make their island great again, however they want to do that. So, I wanted to put in Swoop, one of my favorite ones. I wanted so bad to put that in, which was the pterodactyl Dinobot. I wanted to, it didn't fit. So if you guys were waiting on stuff like that or Grimlock or something like that, Grimlock was actually left out for a good reason. He was just said as the boss. That being said, again, a lot of them are going to be hinted at. So I will say this, in the comment section, a few people got it when I hinted at a certain currently shut down in base mode, very large Cybertronian that is so big that you would look at them as a fortress or a city. A few of you actually got it. So, good for you. Hopefully I didn't totally mess on that one. Now, there was a question about the female versus male Cybertronians. Why is there a difference? Because they don't actually reproduce that way. You are 100% correct. And yes, it is going to be talked about in the series. The full explanation is going to be there. It might not be for a few more episodes, but you are going to get it. And you might find it quite interesting. And there's actually already been some hints thrown in there as well. But I'm not going to fully let the cat out of the bag because we don't do spoilers here. So once again, if you guys have anything for the current series and you want it added, minus, or what have you, let me know and we're going to go in it. And since I don't have my notes, because I literally just ran in here 5 minutes ago, set everything up because I'm saying, oh crap, I'm going to be late. This might just be a really short stream, folks, and it is what it is. So I'm going to go over here to the chat box, and I'm going to go in. Most everybody's saying, how you doing? Like Doug was saying, how you doing, Drill? I'm doing okay. Like I said, just busy. And I'm hoping for syrup season so I can, get this off my face. But it's not supposed to warm up again for another 2 days. But once it does, we're going to get our, 1 week of syrup season, and that's it. Around here in my family, that's a big deal. And, of course, Guardian with his greetings, mortals and other assorted beings. Hey, Ernest, how you doing? Doug saying he's been enjoying the series. Yeah, I've seen him there. Yeah, I'm glad you are. Hopefully it doesn't get too, what's the word I'm looking for most people to enjoy. FYI, if you know somebody who's in the comment section and they're like, where was this one? I don't remember this one. Feel free to add in, hey, look in such and such series and you'll find them. Like I mentioned Swindle. Swindle in animated form has only been there, twice. In Generation 1, he was a completely different bot. Recently, in the past 10 years to 20 years, he's again being that, little guy. But he was a pretty big part of that. Anyways, let's see. Eric is here saying hi. Eric's here. Yep. Doug was saying the weather in Oklahoma is bad. For some reason, we still got a polar vortex. My entire front yard is a whole plethora of ice. My brother came to actually plow the snow, and all it did was allow all the water to come back in and settle, so it's real nice and flat and smooth. And seriously, I almost end up on my back a few times. And I'm at the age, I don't just fall down and bounce back up. I'm at the age where I fall down and go, oh, I'm going to need about 20 minutes. Shit. Okay. I need meds. Nobody's going to come out there and pick me up off the ground. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I heard the weather over there in the Midwest is really bad. It's really bad everywhere. And this is what happens when people fuck with the weather modification. And this is not conspiracy theorists. I know somebody said, I come here for the stories, not the conspiracy theory. All you have to understand is it's like a pendulum. The more you push it one way, the more it's going to swing back the other before it comes back to balance itself out. It's always going to tilt a little bit. That's just life. But again, if you force something one way, the more it's going to fight back. Hell, the human personality is the same way. If you try to force something on somebody, even if it's something that is good for them, the more they're going to fight you. We've all been there. We were all teenagers. We were all told exactly what we had to do to be successful. And, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. When you were around, dinosaurs were growing in the earth. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. That being said, I expect the weather to basically switch a flip here in about a week's time, depending on where you are, possibly up to 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, we went from winter to summer. What the fuck? The bad part about that is that's going to be really hard on the bees, because if they don't have the spring flowers out for a good long time, they are going to be hurting something fierce. I don't know how it is in Oklahoma, but around here we need the pollination. No, okay. He also said, you asked me to remind you about that video you sent about the freighter doing, the plane. Are you talking about? Are you saying freighter or fighter? Oh, that's right. The one that disappeared. I couldn't verify the story itself. Okay. But it was very interesting. For those who don't know, Douglas sent me a email with a link to a video explaining how I believe it was a Verizon class freighter, which is quite large, by the way, just disappeared off the radar, off the sonar, and reappeared about a week later in the middle of a desert, about 100 some odd miles away from the coastline. And nobody can figure out what the hell happened. The crew was just gone. Now, there are certain items in that one, Doug, that really I would want to know. One, with the cargo, was all the organic material missing? Because if all the organic material was missing and it just ended up there, that's an easy thing to answer. And that was simply that got slipped through a quantum gate, whether man-made or otherwise, and it was only for non-organic material, which would mean that the people and everything else that was organic literally were just going along like normal, and all of a sudden the boat just disappeared and they just plummeted into the ocean. And if they're in the middle of the ocean and nobody knows where they are, they don't know where to go get them because there was no signal sent out, they're pretty much screwed. They're very much screwed because you're going to either die of thirst or exposure at that point if the critters of the sea don't get you first. But that wasn't in there. I don't have enough material to make an actual guess. I can speculate all day, but these are very, very wild speculations. The only thing I know that can actually pull something like that into the middle of God's nowhere is either a quantum gateway, or two, a time slip, or time/space slip. But the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that was not there. How long do they wager the ship was actually there? Did it move at the same time? Was it there beforehand and we just didn't notice? Was certain things missing? Do they still have whatever? Did they find any footprints? Did they find, there's so much that's missing on that. But again, I couldn't verify anything. Couldn't verify that it actually happened. There's a lot of people that'll just hide it, but it is what it is. Okay. Alan says, did you get the Gmail? I believe so. I'd have to double check. Like I said, I've been so freaking busy. I didn't even comb my damn hair, people. I literally just pulled that sucker over and called it good. Let's see. Guard says, I mean, you're not too far off of the Cybertonian plants. There were ones that existed in G1 cartoon and in the universe as a whole, although the majority of them were created specifically to keep the Insecticons in line. Yeah, and that's who's eating them now. Most every primitives, and by the way, that was one of the most famous episodes of the Transformer series, was when the primitives the world, because anyone with a high enough intellect that wasn't a designation was locked in stasis. And it was that's where I got the name, by the way. So in case you were wondering why is the guy, I hate that title, but it works. That's the whole thing. Let's see. Guardian said, oh, hold on, Guardian. I have to scroll down here because I have a $5 super chat from Erica Gem. And let me write that down. Oh, hold on. And she said, so in the Cybertron story, is he a large minicon or a small transformer? Also, thank you for everything. Okay, since it's not going to, I'm trying to remember if it's going to actually ruin anything. Not really, because he has kind of a blowout later. You know what? Fuck it. He's a minicon, okay? And that falls into the lore where they get attached to other bots, and when they do, there's some sort of resonance and it makes the bot a lot stronger. Now, this is going to be fully explained later, but like Bumblebee is not a minicon. He's just small. Huffer, the small semi truck, he's not a minicon either. Minicons, at least for G1, were extremely limited. But anyway, Erica, thank you very much. And hopefully I answered it. I tried to answer, I would answer it more, but I don't want to do spoilers. You know, I don't like spoilers here. So let me scroll up just a hair here. Guardian Sage says, have you heard about the ionic foot massage? The reason I asked is because I've been seeing ads for it, and it looks like it might work in some kind of frequency inside the foot bath. Okay, that one in particular, I did check on that a long time ago. I wanted to see if it actually worked. Well, come to find out, if you take that same foot bath and you literally take the whole thing, just fill it with water and drop the actual ionic whatever the hell's in there, you're still going to get the same sludge on the top, because that's not only pulling it from the air, but pulling it from around the actual device itself. At least that's what was told to me. That's the cheap ones. Supposedly, the higher end ones work. If I was you and I wanted to look into one, I would do a lot of research, and I mean a lot, before I looked into any of them. Because the guys I was talking to about them were actual masseuses. They were actual physical therapists. And they said the ones you buy at Walmart or Target and stuff like that off the shelf are garbage. It's just like a lot of the stuff you buy off Amazon that's supposed to like give you a certain frequency while you sleep through the blanket. A lot of them are shit. It's crazy. You'll find knockoffs everywhere. So can it work? Yes. It's going to be easy to find? Probably not. I would recommend you get from somebody who has been rated really well. Make sure it's not just their own friends and families that rate them, which is commonplace, and see what you can find. But yeah, I mean, if it could pull junk out of your body, I'm all for it. Okay, Guard says, remember, it is canon that RC was hitting on Spike's son in the original continuity, and that she herself came an Insecticon out of grief after he blew himself up to save Cybertron with Wheelie. You know, I don't even remember that. That's a good one to know. Now, the kicker is RC, if spelled differently, about 4 or 5 different ways, is a different bot. The original RC was not spelled RC like this. The pink one from the movie, she was ARCE. Now, the one from the live action movie, the 3 motorcycles, were literally spelt like this, RC. Now, if you go to the actual 3D television show, it's AARCEE. One A with 2 E's at the end. It's RC. You know, but they're all very, very similar. The thing is, try looking up anything as far as images for RC Transformers and not get something suggestive. I mean, all you have to do is put hot at the end, like they're burning rubber, or like they're sweating or something, and you will come up with some really fucked up images. Now I'm just like, okay, definitely not using that as a thumbnail, because that would be bad. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but at one of the, how do I put this? When he was with Slipstream and she actually told him, you know, strap in, shut up, don't touch anything, and above all else, don't vomit. Later on, you notice he never gets seasick or airsick. He can't anymore. One of the bonuses of being the way he is now. But anyway, I will think about the whole Spike Sun thing. I'll have to look that up. I don't know if I can find that on YouTube, or that's something I have to buy the actual original series for. I don't know why she turned herself into an Insecticon, unless she was forced to be that way. Let's see. Ernest says it's snowing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh boy, that's fun. I didn't work in North Carolina. I worked in South Carolina, but I drove past Charlotte all the time, especially when coming back up here towards the north. And yeah, you wouldn't think that place would get snow. Hopefully, it's not too bad because a lot of you guys, your snow removal is pretty much non-existent. Let's see. Guardian says, why do you keep sounding like that little robot from Buck Rogers in the 25th century? I don't know which one. Are you saying when I do like this? Because that one, I did that voice specifically because that sounds exactly like Slag from the movie, where he steps on the door and there's the Quintus sound. He goes, excuse me. And it's like, actually, that's even darker or deeper than he actually was. Oh, by the way, that was a serious hat tip because Slag was still one of my favorite Dinobots. And the thing is, if you read the comic, he's even more badass. He doesn't even like being around the other Dinobots because he's like, you guys are soft, you know. You know, he's the only one who ever stands up to Grimlock. All the rest of them are like, Grimlock leader, you know. And Guardian, I hope you don't mean my normal voice, because if that's the case, I might have to get a doc's appointment. Maybe I'm coming down with something. I don't know. Let's see. Douglas says Interstate 40 from Amarillo to east of Omaha City has been discouraged from traveling on. Temperature has been so low as -20 wind chill the last couple days till Friday. The crew was missing. Okay, yeah, he's okay. That's a different one. But yeah, this is why I end my safety briefs in the weekend or the winter time, telling you guys be careful on the roads. My nephew, who is going to be helping me out with my other channel here, as soon as he heals a little bit more, crunched his truck on a telephone pole. He's okay. Don't worry. The truck's a little messed up, but it's a big diesel, so it runs. It's just the front end needs some work now. But that truck is 25, 26 years old. It's older, or it was purchased before I even joined the service. Is what it is. But yeah, guys, you got to be careful on the roads because he was on almost a perfectly straight road. He caught a piece of ice and he panicked. He slammed the brakes and then physics took over. And then Murphy said, guess what? I'm going to get behind you and I'm going to slap you in the ass and friggin' send you around into a telephone pole. We've all been there. We've all slid. I still believe, and I wish more states would allow you to do that. If you can find a big open parking lot, just allow kids to go in there. Hell, sell tickets at $1 a piece to make sure they're, 14, 15, 16-year-olds who are learning how to drive. Send them in there, have them blow donuts a little bit for about 5 minutes and tell them to recover the vehicle afterwards. They'll learn. It's the best way to learn, by doing. SS Demon saying, -20. Damn, I've been bitching about -1, but still, I work outside all night. So I think I'm still allowed to complain. Yeah. Last year when I actually worked at the, or maybe it was 2 years ago when I worked at Costco, it got really cold. It got really wet. I got really freaking sick. So all I can say, Demon, is make sure you're eating right. Make sure you dry yourself off as soon as you can. And make sure you are stocked up on whatever meds you're going to need to actually fight whatever you're going to get, because it is what it is. Douglas says, this is about the boat. The crew was missing and there was half-eaten meals and no footprints. Okay, I don't remember them saying about the no footprints part, but they were saying something about the clothes were on the ground. It was like they just got up and left, or they just vaporized into nothing. So again, I don't have enough evidence or enough details to actually say too much, except for if this is real, it's really fucked up. And of course, time slips happen. We have documented cases of time slips. We have documented cases of people doing teleportation, sometimes, again, by accident, usually by accident. A lot of times I think this, at least recently, has to do with people screwing around with equipment they don't understand and it ends up shooting off in the other direction and actually just tags somebody, just some random schmuck. So it is what it is. See. He continues with a certain unmarked vehicle was sent at the ship after it was found, and the locals were chased away until the cargo was searched. So it is possible they were carrying something that caused them to teleport. It's the Eldridge 2.0 for all we know. If that's the case, they actually did jump it without the crew. It was quite literally they killed the crew just by jumping it. Because if something happened with the crew, like they were actually vaporized or something, that would cause a lot of heat. People don't just blink out, okay, like that. It just doesn't happen. Not if they're actually killed off. To get rid of the human body would consume a lot of heat. The clothes would be partially burned. There'd be ash all over the place, and it would stink. I mean, it would stink really, really bad. If you guys haven't been around somebody who is actually like cooked down, like 3rd-degree burns and worse, you have no idea how fucking bad that stinks. Oh my God, just so bad. Ernest says, I have to go. I need to check a few things. Go for it. Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Chris Eppen. Hello, all. It's been a while since I've been able to catch a live show. The joys of running a welding shop. Oh, boy. Fun stuff. Hey, Chris, I hope you're enjoying the show as far as the series that's going on. I won't say how many more chapters there are because I'm not getting a lot of views. It's going to be kind of cut off. If I did the entire series, it would take me probably over a month to do. Unfortunately, guys, I still got to do what's best for the channel, and I'm sure you can see that the view count is not nearly where it should be. So you'll definitely know when I'm done with this part of the series because I'm going to be pulling out my printouts, which I'm not going to reach for because they're at least a body length away over there. I got part 2 of something that, well, I think the guy who wrote it, I think he mixed some Prozac in his pancakes. And yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Chris is out, different Chris. Anyway, I haven't seen him in the chat box yet. So yeah, that's going to be up next. I'm still going to be doing series through the entire month. I'm not going to be doing any standalones, even though you guys send me some really good stuff. I printed off a whole bunch of shit. Well, I shouldn't call it shit. You guys sent me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm still got to go through. And honestly, it's a good thing you guys can't see my eyes because I'm having trouble keeping them open. And that's not against you guys. I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep and just been going crazy. Okay. MTF Gar says, yeah, my autocorrect hates her name. It was RC, not RC. Which RC? Because again, there was 3 of them. And yeah, it's that one. Oh man, that one hinted so much at a Cybertronian and human relationship. And I don't know if you guys watched, but they actually did one adult joke, and I say adult because the kids wouldn't get it. Teenagers would get it, and they would just be like, "Oh my!" They'd be chuckling, going, "Oh shit!" Me, I laugh my ass off. And I hope you guys don't mind because you've probably seen it. And this is from the CGI show, not Beast Wars, but the one more recently. And it's the RC, the motorcycle. She's the guardian of the guy. It's his mom shows up, and she starts asking, "Hi everybody, how you doing?" She's like, "Where's Optimus?" And Ratchet goes on a scouting mission. And sorry to disappoint. And she's like, "Oh, and I wore heels and everything." Mom! And they weren't even trying to hide it. It was just a well done joke. And I give credit to the writers and I give credit to the voice actors. And the animators even did a real good job with it too. They didn't emote all that well, but they emoted just enough to make it funny. It was just a good joke. It takes forever to find that little bit on YouTube. I was going to try and put it in one of the videos, but I just couldn't get it. Okay. SS Demon says, if I was a Transformer, I would want to be either an aircraft carrier, helicarrier, if allowed, or a train as long as I can pick up the rail cars I have. Oh, You mean like Astro Train. And before I say anything else, we got a Guardian Sage dropping a $5 super chat. Here, let me write this down. Guardian. And he says, "You're amazing. I need to crack down and write a few stories to forward you a few one-offs." That's good. Hey, if you just send me an outline, I will fill in the rest provided it fits for the channel. And I only have to say that because I've been sent stuff. Seriously, I don't even see these folks in the chat box. I've never seen them in the comment section. And these folks will send me stuff that it'll get me kicked off YouTube. Let's just put it that. I don't do that type of work anymore because one, I can't monetize it. And two, guess what? It'll get me kicked off. It'll damage the channel. Besides, this stuff was boring as hell. I mean, seriously, it's just boring. They meet, they do something, and usually he leaves. So, again, before I go off in the weeds, which I seem to be doing, we got another $5 super chat from, and a little bit more. Let me get to you later, Demon. We got MTF Guard here. He says, "I have no clue if you put them in yet since only at chapter 3. But have you tried adding a in Perceptor yet? He's very logical, like Shockwave. One of those is going to make an appearance. At least one of those. I might be able to squeeze both of them in. That being said, one of them has more backstory I can work with than the other. Okay, which makes it a whole lot easier to work with and easier to put them in. That being said, I will see what I can do. Let me write down here. Perceptor. Okay. Let's see. Perceptor, and you said Shockwave? Yeah, Shockwave. Decepticon. Okay. Yeah, well, again, one of them is a lot easier to work with. And the thing is, I've been trying to stay away from the ones that were like right in everybody's face. Everybody knows the big two. And I'm honestly, as soon as you attach them to that or attach the story to them, it becomes all about them because just like the comics, people try to get away and then holy fucking balls. It's just crazy. It just, no matter what you do to try to pull it away, it just gets yanked back to those two. They try to get out and they keep pulling me back in. But anyway, before I go way off in the weeds, we got a $50 super chat. And again, if I could hit the button here and just do the Garth and Wayne, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. I would for every 50 and above. Let me write this down here. He says, "I have bad news about the Fantasy Empire. I was going to send you when I went to pull up the files on my computer I had done, or files on the computer I had done. They were all corrupted, including the backups. The only thing that survived was a rough draft map. So I have to start over now, sadly." That happens. I actually had stuff I wrote was on the 3-inch discs. I tried to save as much as I could. Some of them are just gone, permanently gone. The ones I could save, only a few of them are worth putting on any of these channels. Reason being, they were kind of shit. One in particular was called the Battle of the Sexes, and it was quite literally after the sexes kind of went at each other, like actually physically went at each other, like went to war with each other. Everything kind of degraded, everything kind of fell apart because nobody was maintaining shit. Stuff like nuclear plants exploded, all the septic systems back up and now solid sludge, nothing can be done with them anymore, and things like that. So you're back to almost barbaric times. Well, in that one, the guys are afraid to go towards the women because the women will actually hunker down and, well, hold the place. And by the time you get in, you've lost almost all your guys. And can you take everybody down with half your people? Probably not. And if the guy's caught alone by the women, they know it's going to happen. The same thing the Amazons do. And I thought about this back when I was a fucking teenager. I never read that comic book. By the way, straight from DC Comics, the Amazons will sneak onto a boat, completely bare ass, present themselves to the crew to get knocked up. Let's face it, you haven't even sniffed a woman in a couple of months. You're going to be really quick to doing. Get ready. And any guy that says, no, I'm married, I'm going to be loyal, they'll actually tie him down and do stuff to him. I mean, it's not cool. And when they're done, they kill everybody in the most gruesome fashion. They start with cutting down below. So no matter what, even if the guy gets away, he's never going to reproduce again. And then when he's screaming, they'll slice his throat. And then they throw the body overboard and steal the ship. Now, that's not my story. That's from DC Comics. With mine, yes, they would tie the guy down. They get a few women pregnant, maybe use him a little while for fun. And then again, they just either poison him or kill him right there. That's just the way I wrote it. And honestly, I think that it sucks. It's just, it doesn't fit any type of narrative. No matter what I did, I couldn't make it work. So in the DC comic, it worked because it was already preset up. Everybody knew that. Okay. I am so far off in the weeds, folks. I apologize that I just got in a side rant, but yeah, I will say getting your stuff just destroyed like that is a major kick in the nuts. All I can say is shake the paint off. Don't rub some dirt on it because that's going to give you an infection. And, take a deep breath and start over again. Here's the fun part. Okay, Demon, I want you to keep this in mind because this also has happened. I've been creating something. It got lost. It got destroyed. In one case, I was actually writing and a girlfriend's kids came in and thought, oh, it'd be fun. I want to see if these things go in the fireplace, how fast they burn. They destroyed about a dozen of these notepads with all my stuff on it, to include the story I was working on then. That being said, I went back, I rewrote it, and guess what series that was? It came out better, and that was Ambush Predators. So keep that in mind, Demon. You might be on the next big story, the next big seller. You don't know. So all you got to do is refine it as you make it. So anyway, let me scroll back up to see where I was. Let's see. Alan says the Gmail might be useful in that army stream of maniacs. Huh? For some reason, my brain's not locking in on you, Alan. I'm sorry. Guardian says, I was referring to when you make that noise that implies crazy. Huh? You sound like a small humanoid robot when he talks, but you have to interfere what that means by the response of the circle bot. Okay, I don't even remember. I remember seeing the circle bot. In my mind, I can't hear his voice. So I'm at a loss on that. My sister loved that damn show, by the way. I couldn't. There was too much there that I'm sitting like, that doesn't make sense. That really doesn't make sense. How did he get a hold of that? How can he do this now? It doesn't make a lick of sense. So, I need something that actually works. Let's see. Doug says spontaneous human immolation is what I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, is what you was thinking of. Yeah. If you guys don't know what spontaneous human immolation is, it's spontaneously catching fire. And yeah, even if you were to instantly, even when they showed War of the Worlds, with a heat beam hit somebody and they burst into nothing but powder. Well, first off, you wouldn't actually do that. You would actually explode from the water boiling inside you. You wouldn't be powder, you'd be chunks. But it's a good effect. That being said, at high enough heat, you would actually vaporize. The problem is that's still a lot of heat. Deathbed's here. Says, evening, gotta drive now. Oh, been there, done that. I've been doing that for a good part of the day, running around like a fucking asshole. No, me, I was running around like an asshole and I screwed up so bad too. Okay. Joseph's. Oh, hey, Joseph's here. Oh, Shiny. Hello, folks. Glad to catch you live. Oh, glad you're here. MTF Gar said the pink one. That's what RC I was referring to. Okay. Yeah, you got the thing is they get so crazy because just like Black Arachnia and Arachne, that one's easier because they're not as similar. But if you took the black off of that instead of Arachne, you if you're talking to them right next to each other, you would get really confused on which one is which. So, you got to be very careful without using visual media. That being said, I'm going to say this here and now for everybody in God to hear. If there's anybody out there that wants to turn this series that we are talking about here, the Cybertronian Wars, into a web series, I give you 100% full permission to do so. Just do not change any of the words. You can do whatever you want with the freaking visuals. Okay, that's on you if you're going to make a comic. I would love to see it. Just make sure you send me a link. I'm not going to critique anything until you're done. And then I might say, hey, you overdid this, you underdid that, or whatever it might be. So, yeah. By all means, somebody do that. And you know what would be awesome is in like a month or two, somebody comes back on the chat and says, here's where you can find the webcomic for your series, and you post the link. And I would gladly look that motherfucker over. And if need be, I would make a whole new video, a short video, just to say, hey, he did this. Here's mine. I'm going to pull everything together as one. But if you want to actually watch or read the comic or what have you, here's the link. I would gladly do that because I'm all, this is therapy for me, folks. This keeps me going. Oh, excuse me. Let me grab a little drink of hydration here. As one guy online, I used to hear him say, be a hydro homie. I just think like, you going to be a hydrant homie? What the hell? The dogs must love you. Anyways, let's see. Joseph saying, yeah, corrupt files suck. Yeah, they do. What can you do? Chris, hey, Chris is here. Yay, I'm not dead yet and avoided frostbite. Well, that's always good. Who would have thought water rescues in a blizzards isn't fun? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and a trip to the hospital. That was not so good. I wasn't the one pulling the guy out. We actually had an actual level 7 diver for that, but we actually had to go into the water because the rope kept snapping down and we couldn't get a good pull on it. So we actually had to walk in, like stomp down, break everything. We're almost chest deep in water. They finally got a hold of this guy and they just yelled pull, and we just start, wrapping everything up and just start backing up out of there. And oh my God, we're all just shaking. And I still remember they looked at us because we were in the field. We just happened to be close to help them out. And they said, okay, next thing, everybody on the trucks, we're all going to the hospital. Like, what? Why? I was like, well, because we're going to make sure you guys don't show up with hypothermia. I'm like, oh, thanks, I guess. Well, can I grab my bag? It's got a change of clothes. Had to go get my rucksack and everything. We ran out. We got up. I mean, yeah, the drive there was horrific. When I tried to pull my socks off, you could actually hear ice cracking as I'm pulling them off. Thankfully, my feet were pink and they weren't purple yet. Only one guy's feet was actually purple, and he was a really skinny guy. But yeah, water rescues ain't great. Of course, pulling out a body is not fun either. Anyway, he continues with, I'm freaking tired and I'll be heading back out again in the morning. Yeah. Again, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I didn't actually do two water rescues in a row. Actually, mine was more of a recovery, not a rescue. I should actually phrase that right. But yeah, all I can say is grilled cheese, a bowl of tomato soup, a hot shower, and then a warm bed. That's just about in that order. And preferably if you're climbing in bed and you have somebody warm who can be there right next to you. Although in my case, that's not possible. You guys can actually see how bad my day was. I didn't even get to freaking make my bed today. It's just all sort of fucked up. I literally jumped out of bed and went, fuck, I'm late, and freaking took off. Anyways, let's see. Douglas says, that was hinted at during a certain television show called Xena, not actually spelling. Which one were we talking? Sorry, I got 3 different things here. Oh, okay. Okay, Xena Warrior Princess with the spontaneous human combustion. Yeah, fun. Let's see. Alan, your message got retracted up here. I didn't see it. Guard says, I just watched a short video of a lady getting smoked for trying to say that beans and toast are better than PB&J. Like, imagine being so long, even other Brits are calling you out. Okay, that must be a British thing, beans and toast, because I have never heard of that, ever. Lena says, Babylon 5, can we put guns on this ship? Yes. Can we put even more guns on it? Maybe. Yes, I did see that video. Lena's talking about Sacred Cow Shipyards. He's been kind of a little bit off on a few of his videos, but the one he just dropped about the different ships from Babylon 5 was actually pretty good. I love the series. I think it was good, but I put that to the actors who did the sub characters, the different ambassadors, even the pilots, the second in command on the space station, all that. They did an amazing job. I mean, even the guy who played Bester, he just had fun with it. Even though he had to keep that part, do certain things to make sure the part thing, like having his fist permanently clenched, that was, I didn't even notice that when I first watched it. But yeah, they just all did a really good job. The Spartan 1337. 1337. Okay, now I get it. Sup, love your content. Thank you very much. And I'm going to just keep making it. By the way, Spartan, I don't know if you ever have, but if you have an idea or something like that, down in the comment section down there. Hey, I saw you looking, you meat gazer. No, go down below in the description box. There is a email if you have something you'd like me to cover, or if you want to say, okay, here's the idea. I'll just put it down right here. Be my guest. Usually I'm more coherent, folks, but again, I am running on like 2 cylinders. And when I'm done with this, I actually have to slam coffee to get the other video done. Anyways, Alan says, the stream you are going to make as your viewers as the army group. Oh, yeah. Okay. That fell apart because the system I was using did not want to work right. I could get most everything to work except the fact that I could not open up. I could not get the quote unquote fog of war to break away. Now, if somebody knows how to operate the Assault Squad 2 to do that, I'll be more than happy to pass the torch over, show you exactly what I was going to do. And if you want to do it, and we'd run it through the people here where you actually have your teams, you would actually write in, here's your team, and here's who's moving where during the week. And yeah, either you stay or you move or whatever. And there's certain rules you got to go by. And if you don't go by those rules, then you're probably going to walk yourself into a position where you're going to lose your tanks or artillery or whatever. And I think it said at 15% or whatever was on the board. And if you lose that battle, goes into the other side and they get to use it. So unfortunately, again, that was just, maybe it's too much of a learning curve. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing. I watched a lot of videos trying to explain how it worked, and I just couldn't get the motherfucker to work. And it was, that freaking, I don't know who designed it or whatever, but for some reason it just didn't want to work. And I got so much of it right. It's just, ow. Sorry, I tweaked my arm. I just flexed the muscle I shouldn't have been flexing. Okay, Demon says, those files were made in 2019. Okay, he's talking about the corrupted files, sorry. I was just going to double check it all and send it to you. It was a lot of work and even paid for a few months of map making tools to actually make the map. But that hurts. Yeah, that when you actually put hard-earned cash into it and it just disappears on you. Yeah. That's like having something you build as a hobby. You spent money building this thing and then you accidentally drop it and it explodes or something. I mean, that's just harsh, man. You have my sympathies on that one. Let's see. Lena says, I've been watching an anime about heliocentrism and feel frustrated about heliocentrism. Why does that ring a bell? And for some reason, my brain doesn't want to actually work. You fucker, work. Maybe I should go get a soda or something. But okay, sorry, this thing just jumped. I don't know which anime you're talking about. You'd have to tell me, and I'd have to watch it. But again, I don't have the time to sit there and watch a whole series. So, yeah, used to, don't anymore. Let's see. Demon says, I'll just start over and finish it after I finish the AI thing. It will be a while till I send you those things. It's better to have quality than quantity in this case, because let's face it, if I just wanted something quick, fast, and was a pile of shit, I'd just go watch Disney's Snow White, because everybody realized that thing was thrown together really fast because they felt like it, and then they had to do a whole bunch of reshoots and a whole bunch of this and a whole bunch of that, and everybody's still ratioing into the ground, and rightfully so. There's a whole lot of stuff coming out, like the new Jurassic Park, God help us, looks terrible. I mean, I know they've been going downhill since the second or third one, but wow, just wow. They pay all this money to bring back the original cast on the previous one before this one coming out, and it just sucked so bad. Oh my, just wow, and now they got to make a whole new monster for the Monsterverse, basically. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It just, you don't genetic tamper like that. And let's face it, if something that big was actually made and they didn't want it, they would have just drowned the fucking thing when it was an infant and called it good. It doesn't fit the story. The first Jurassic Park made canonical sense. The second one was kind of fun. And after that, they just kind of blow. Let's see. Guardian Sage, more DACA, more better. What's the secret of life? More ammo, because I refuse to die for lack of shooting back. Guardian Sage says, what does DACA actually mean and where does it come from? It comes straight from 40K when they were writing goofy lines for those green ogre looking dudes who actually apparently get born out of fungus. I don't know 40K all that well. They wanted some funny lines. They wanted something to throw in there in the game, especially when you're playing the online game, to kind of make you laugh, make you chuckle and stuff like that, along with the cinematics and stuff like that. They're supposed to be something to laugh at while you mow them the fuck down, like the grunts in Halo would say stupid things like, oh, aren't you more purpler? And it's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Little goofy things like that. And that's where that DACA comes from. But DACA literally means just anything that says bang, anything bang that fires at something. A missile could be DACA. A pistol could be DACA. Anywhere in between can be DACA. And all they're concerned with is throwing as many pieces of lead in your direction to tear you up. Because they can't aim worth a shit. So more DACA, i.e. more spray and pray, the more better, the more they get you. That's just how that works. Anyway, down here, Douglas saying Amazon mating habits. Yeah, that's why even in the Odyssey, where they're like, "Oh, we're running short on water, we're running short on food. Should we pull into this alcove?" And the captain's like, "Don't you dare." I'm summarizing here. It's like, "Don't you dare. That's Amazon territory. We will not go in there because we will not freaking leave. They're gonna pull you in with the pussy, and you're gonna be freaking bowing down to it. You're gonna put it up on a pedestal and start praying. And then as soon as you even touch it, as soon as you get a sniff, you're gonna be sliced across the throat. After they, slice you other places." I mean, he wasn't stupid. He knew what was going on, because if you guys had gotten away, if you actually read some of the Greek mythology, the only like one or two that got away from the Amazons, one in particular, he was missing one eye, one ear, and a hand. They had chopped him up that bad. The ear was lost to an arrow. The eye, the eye was lost to a sword, and they had actually axed his hand off, all within a matter of seconds of each other. And somehow he still had enough wherewithal to get the fuck out. But once he came back and he said, "This is what they're doing," everyone's like, yeah, this guy's like 6'5" and like 350 pounds, and he's running scared like a bitch, probably pissed himself at the same time. He's so scared. Yeah, we're going to stay away. Let's see. Demon threw it in here. Daka is a slang term for firepower in gaming. It was also a term used in Warhammer 40K to describe the firearms used by the orcs. Yep. It was coined by 40K. You're right, Demon. It has been adopted by a lot of people. Chris is talking about the weather here. The floods have been bad here. Yeah, the floods are. That's what happens when the ice is blocking the river up. People are trying to drive through it only to find out there's no roads under the water, and it isn't a good. Oh, shit, bald, not again. Yeah. Look, the only time I've ever forded through a river that deep, I still remember opening up a door, getting out, and yelling at my driver, saying, "I'm going to kick your ass now." He thought it was funny till I opened up the door, grabbed him by the chest, and dragged him out onto the ground. I thought he was going to kill us both. I'm glad there's nobody else in the Humvee. The only reason we didn't float away is we had so much crap in the back, we were weighted down. I mean, we had some really, really heavy shit, most of which was blanks. But still, I'm like, dude, no. And yeah, you don't go through water if you don't know exactly how deep it is with a car. Even then, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, Chris, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 8 inches of water will float a semi. If I'm trying to remember if that was it. Now, granted, it's a semi that's not loaded, but still, I'm trying to remember exactly how much. I know it's only about 6 inches will float a car. It's just got to be high enough into the rim. But you can actually do that one. Let's see. Douglas also says DACA is also used in MechWarrior Online and the book series. Okay. I haven't read the books. Again, haven't had time. I wish I could. I missed the book series. Most of the books are really good. Most of them. A few of these authors, I don't know where the hell their head is at. But their writing style, I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to I'm towards the end. I'm like, will you just get to the fucking point already? I don't need to know how descriptive this is. What the fuck is wrong with you? Of course, I'm a guy, if it isn't good by the second chapter, I will literally throw a book out the window. I've done that before. Totally pissed a few people off. Because, didn't land on anybody. But it hit the overhead cover that we had out in the parking lot. Scared the shit out of them. Kind of funny now that I think about it. At the time, I thought I was going to get in a fight. But yeah, I've never heard DACA used for MechWarrior. I'm sure once was used in 40K. A lot of the MechWarrior Online folks did use it. I miss playing MechWarrior Online. It was fun for me. The problem is I couldn't bust out my old Jaeger mech and actually use it. I'd get shredded. I mean, when it first started, the Jaeger mech, all you had to do was go in, rip off a few things, crank the armor up to where it's supposed to be. Because when you look at it the first time, the armor is non-existent pretty much. That's why they get shredded so easy. And then you strap on the right type of weapons. For me, it was an AC2 and AC5 on each side, and then I would stagger the button push so that it's not don't at the same time as da 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 da. And then since the AC2s and AC5s have a different firing rate, then they would stagger so much, and it would just drive people crazy because I'd be aiming for the cockpit. They can't see what the hell they're shooting at. If they locked on me, sure, they could fire into the center of the red icon, but still, it just drove people nuts. It drove the lights crazy because that's giant tracer rounds pointing right to their position, and they don't want to be seen. And one of the best ones on that, I kid you not, any of you play the old MechWarrior Online where you actually had this snow-covered plains, one side's like up on a plateau and it comes down low. Well, we were on the top thinking, oh, we're going to shoot down at our opponents. Well, this guy with the light, he came in, started screwing around, and I can hear on the chat, hey, this spider is causing us problems. I turned quick, and I got a pair of AC-20s, and I staggered the fire. Ba-boom. Both of them hit one right after another. He goes down. I hit the button. I go, not anymore, and just turn back around. I was like, dude, that was the coolest shit ever. I'm like, yeah, get your head in the game. I do remember we lost. We lost big on that one because everybody else, either they got pissed off that we shot their scout, or they were in a clan or something because they just tore us apart. And the problem is on a map like that, AC-20s are fairly useless because you got to get so close. Anyway, let me get back to the chats because even Ernest is saying, Warg, more Daka. Let's see. Guard says, I'm kind of laughing my ass off at GTA Vice City character Al. I don't know what Al. Like, give or take, the game did come out in 2002, but I decided to do an ambulance mission, and I swear at least 6 times the civilian AIs have jumped in front of the ambulance to avoid me, even though I'm on the road. What? Okay, that's some seriously dumb AI, man. That is some seriously dumb AI. Let's see. Lena says, do the cargo space in your ships... Hold on. Do the cargo space of your ships is bigger on the inside because they're using hyperspace technology? Oh, you're thinking fourth dimensional space. No, I don't ever use fourth dimensional space because it's too hard to explain without some sort of visuals. You know where you can actually find fourth dimensional space? All through anime. The only thing in Western media was Monsters, Inc. But in anime, they use fourth dimensional. Oh, the item box is a fourth dimensional space. I shit you not. That is exactly what it is. Just like some of you guys are playing your video games. You just throw something in the item box. Congratulations. That's a fourth dimension that you carry around with you. The only difference is it's tied to your life force. So when you die, the wall that holds third and fourth dimensional space apart shatters and it just bursts in there. Which was the idea with Ready Player One. When somebody croaks, all their money just splashes all over the place. So, yeah. The problem is when you're using that in a sci-fi, especially a standalone, you have to explain what you're using. And it can end up being very long and turn into a series when you're trying to explain all the different technologies. So, yeah. Let's see. Lena continues with, do you remember the anime about the people researching the revolution of the earth around the sun, and then the church is hunting them for heresy? Nope. Can't say that I did. That rings absolutely no bells. However, one I hope I saw as possibly coming out as a actual anime is a guy obviously needs money to support his family. And they're in a world where monsters are very common, but his government is very, very technologically savvy. They have actual auto guns and everything like that, sentry guns and everything else set up around their cities to protect them, missile launchers and all sorts of fun stuff. With a lot of people, like there's elves in that world, they still use things like ballistas and uh, briar patches to slow the monsters down. Now he went in to become an experiment, and he awakens a few like 200 years later as a monster. Now, granted, he can't talk or anything like that because he is a monster, but it was a really good series, and I don't know if they ever actually finished it, but I see that they're trying to make an anime of it, so I'm assuming they got pretty far. I will say this. I guarantee if it's shown on YouTube, it's going to be heavily censored. Not that they're actually, going to Pound Town, but they have a lot of they have a lot of nudity. It's no other way to put it. A lot of women in situations where they're either in wet clothes or they're not wearing any. And like a slave being transported, why would they even have clothes? Well, that makes sense kind of in the story. So anyway, I'd like to see that one. There's a couple I'd like to see that are supposed to come out this year, and we'll see how that goes. But the one you're talking about, Leonid, I am lost completely. Let's see. We got Chris. I'm gonna have to call one of the Chris by his handle, and our new Chris Epping here by Chris, because I don't want to step on everybody here. It says, for all you guys talking about it being cold, it was a cold ride home on my motorcycle from work today. It was 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe for all of us that are currently in below freezing temperatures, I think I can speak for all of us and say, fuck you, dude. And yes, if you laughed at that, go ahead. It is what it is. Just like last time I went to a tropical area, I went there from, what was it, January or something like that. I'm walking around the beach in swim trunks. The locals are actually wearing jackets. I'm like, guys, it's 73 degrees out. How can you be cold? Well, not realizing that they're used to 90 plus degrees. It's just that way. Anyways, let's see. Leonid, I don't know why people want to attend the Jurassic Parks after multiple failures and dinosaurs escaping. The research data makes no sense. Yeah, one sec. Excuse me. Yeah, it just that was the first thing every reviewer said. Why in the hell would you go back? This DNA is not that important, and even if it was, why are you only going in with a small team? You should be going in with like a 12-man team, several heavy weapons users to make sure you're not going to freaking die. A few people doing Overwatch, doing hot laps around you to make sure if you call for fire, they can do something. And 3 or 4 people specifically just to trank the damn dinos and then take the blood. Everybody else is just straight up security with like 50 caliber rifles and shit. That's if you needed that research. Honestly, I don't think so. But you're right. It's like I said, after the second movie, it was dumb. They're grasping at straws. They tried to make things cooler and cooler, and they even said it on one of the movies. They're like, let's increase the wow factors. Like, they're dinosaurs. Wow enough. Leave it alone. But apparently not. Leonid's here saying also, you mean Warhammer 40K Orcs? Mordaka. Yeah. Along with a few others. Douglas is saying the map is Frozen City, and the perimeter Dhaka now is rotary autocannons. Okay. By the way, for those that are confused, the only difference between an autocannon and a rotary autocannon is rotary autocannons have multiple barrels. A Vulcan cannon, which is what he actually says, like a jumped up Vulcan. A Vulcan cannon is officially considered a an autocannon because it reaches a certain diameter and, again, rotating barrel, so it's a rotary autocannon. It's just that simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. Unlike anything politicians get their hands in, they do what politicians do. They make something simple and complicate the piss out of it. One of my favorite, I changed it a little bit, but that's one of my favorite lines from the Tremor series. Which, by the way, I just showed my dad Tremors 2 for the first time, and he enjoyed it. I told him it's just a goofy, fun movie. If you've seen the first one and you enjoyed it, watch the second one. After that, they kind of, spiraled the drain a bit. Although I will say, the Tremors Cold Day in Hell has one of the funniest set of lines ever. And if you've seen that, you know which one I'm talking about, where he's trying to make the guy actually grow a pair. And you put it in the chat box, I'll actually say the line. Okay. Lena says there's a hammer space, fourth dimensional space in animation, usually somewhere around the girls' Jigglypuffs. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say that's fourth dimension as in just the most wonderful thing about 3 dimensions right there. It's like when I was a kid, a bunch of us guys, we saw a woman and she was very self-conscious that she had, large mammaries, and she was like 20 years old, 20 something, and we're teenagers. And we tell her, it's like, don't worry about it. You have one of God's greatest inventions right there. One of the greatest things he ever thought of. And she's like, oh, really? What? Without skipping a beat, my buddy literally sits there and goes, the jiggle factor. And she said, we're trying to keep a straight face. She starts busting out laughing. We start busting out laughing. Everybody around us in the entire food court is just dying laughing. And after that, she just kind of relaxed about it. Granted, when she went out with another guy and found him, talking like this to her, with his head down the whole time. I'm like, dudes, no. It's like they said in Seinfeld. It's like the sun. You take a peek and you move away. Let's see. Guardian says high of 24 today. That's about what here. I think it was 22 where I am. Chris says, sorry, that text was supposed to go to my brother in Illinois. Okay. We still use it. Okay. Guards here saying, please tell me the name of that manga you're talking about right now, because I was trying to find it for like over a month and a half. What Lena was talking about was Dark Ages in Europe. The church hated any science that was opposed to the church vision. Yeah. Now the one I'm talking about, it's oh god damn, it's like Awakened as a Monster or something like that. It's not isekai. Do not ever put isekai in there. And you'll know because he's a giant white monster with this huge tail and he's tiny little feet. But he can literally punch through a freaking brick wall if he wants to. Oh man, I wish the thing is, there's so many different mangas that it's really hard to keep you focused on which one. But I haven't read it in years. It was just really good. It was fun to. I shouldn't say it was good. It was fun to read. And before I go any further, we got a $10 super chat from the man, the myth, the legend, the Brian Kempf. And by the way, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that, Brian, to make sure your last name is spelled right. But he also says, hello, everyone. And I believe they're saying hello. And Leonid just threw in the name reincarnated as a behemoth. That might be it. I'd have to look it up. And I'm not going to sit here while I'm talking to you guys and try to get on my phone to look it up, because that'd be messed up. Oh, wait, I'm reaching for my phone right now, and I'm pretty sure I could talk at the same time. Let me see if I can get through this. And the phone is not booting up. Okay. Let me see if Mr. Leonid is correct. Reincarnated as a BE. Okay. Let me look. Sorry, it's taking me a second to actually verify this. Oh, no, definitely no. Nope. That one right there is actually being made that one's coming out right now. I actually have missed the last like 2 or 3 episodes because I haven't had time to sit and watch it. That's that one you're talking about, Lena. That's the one where the guy comes out as a cat, but he can evolve himself for about 20 minutes to be this gigantic monster pussy that can bite through a dragon scale without any trouble. As a different one. So not the one I was talking about. But thanks again, Brian. Let me go up here. What am I looking at? Chris says, "Oh my God, that was an awesome response. I actually meant." Okay, yeah, yep, wrong time. Demon says, "Oh shit, I lost track of time. I have to leave for work. Like 10 minutes. So bye, everyone. Everyone's saying bye. We got some truly outrageous people saying bye to you. Let's see. Chris says, I wonder how giant dino chickens taste with barbecue sauce. Just don't park under a tree. Oh, just don't park under the tree they're in. So you're wondering what a T-Rex tastes like, huh? Because, and I only say that because people have pointed this out and it's pretty much indisputable. If you look at the skeleton of a T-Rex, just the skeleton, forget everything about the outer layer of what we've been told they look like. And you compare, and by the way, T-Rex has hollow bones. Keep that in mind. If you compare I believe it's an emu or an ostrich, just the skeleton, if you stop the neck, not the tall neck part, but just the body, you'll see the exact same protrusions out. So, logic would tell you that the dinos were not giant lizards, but many of them were actually birds. Or if they were reptilian, because again, it does have that giant reptilian skull. If they were in fact reptilian, then it's possible that they had wings. Now, what do you call a giant reptilian who has 2 legs, a tail, and a pair of wings? No extra front feet. That would be a wyvern. Not a dragon, but a wyvern. Now, and that's with being specific. Now, dragon is a euphemistic term, actually, and dragon was used until 1849, I believe, was there, and then they decided to use the word dinosaur instead of dragon. So, yeah, it's yeah, it is what it is. Okay. Lena's here says, I know that anime about the guy with the harem of 3 spirit girls. Huh? It's not worth it because their mother is always watching. I don't know which one you're talking. Is that the one where they get this? He's got the spirits in his eyes? Because if that's the one what you're talking about, they fucked that up from the original. I remember reading that manga years ago. And honestly, it was stupid back then, but the fact of the matter is the guy and it's out now. He didn't just fall into a dungeon and fall into the tree and the tree decided to save him. No, he found a tree shaped like a female, tits and ass and all, and he literally decided to screw it. And when he finished, he had actually made the world tree, which he was sticking his penis into, fall in love with him. And I'm like, my brain hurts. I thought it was going to be funny. I went through the first like 2 chapters trying to find the rest of the funny part. I'm like, this is stupid. And it's just, that being said, I'm not sure, Lena, that's the one you were talking about. All right, down here with MTF Guard, he says, I wouldn't consider it to be an isekai. I would consider it to be more of a time travel due to the fact that the guy literally went from his version of modern day to future while being in a coma. Hold on. Guy literally went from his version to modern day to the future. Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't really be isekai. That's simply a time differential story. Now, that time differential does not mean time travel. That is very, very different. They are very different from each other. That being said, yeah, there's more and more of these. I went to sleep as a demon and I woke up as a such and such. There was one where the demon lord put himself into a resurrection coma, collapsed his own castle around him, and was accidentally woken up by some teenage girl. 500 years later, he pops out of that crystal sarcophagus he was in, and he's only a 10-year-old kid. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And then, of course, he turns her into a vampire because she did something stupid. And he's like, well, you'll make a good servant for me. And then she gets overpowered, and he's already overpowered, and everybody's overpowered. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's basically their version of Overlord with a child, with a whole bunch of women who think, oh, he's just a cute child. We can take our clothes off around him, right? Seriously, Japan, what the fuck is wrong with you? My brain hurts on some of this stuff. Because I know most of us, at least guys, we would like to go back and fix a lot of crap we did when we were younger. I mean, that's just normal. And we would like to get a whole lot more of that when we were younger. Sure. The problem is it's a fantasy, because we know, just straight up, if you were to actually travel back to, say, 1983, 1984, 85, something like that, and you woke up tomorrow in there, a lot of shit would crash down on your shoulders you'd have to learn to live with. If you decide to, woohoo, get some, then you're going to have to worry, oh, shit, did I just knock her up? Did I just get some sort of permanent disease I got to watch out for? I don't actually know anything about this woman on here. Was it her first time? Oh, wait, were her family into any type of drugs? Did they pass on a blood disease to her? All that same shit applies. That's why it's a fantasy, guys. But sometimes Japan just goes way overboard. Holy yeesh. And all I can say is just dial it back, guys. I mean, I could think of something they put together with a long name, starts with a foot and ends with Anna. And oh God. Again, I used to do commission work, guys. Yes, I know what it is. And it just, but the Japanese thought that one up. And I'm just like, no. Anyways, at least they put it in modern day stuff. The Greeks put it actually into a statue. Let's see. MTF Gar says, oh, no, wait, I read that. We got our Prozac and pancakes. No, it's called dinner, not why. It's called dinner, not wyvering. I must have missed something. Oh, James is here. Hey, there he is. Let's see. Lena says, yes, that one's the eye tree spirits. Yeah, I hate that. It's stupid. At least to me, I can't enjoy it. If you can enjoy it, more power to you. Enjoy the shit of it. Me personally, I can't, because I saw the original. Just like I can't enjoy Fall of Reach as a video game because I read the goddamn books. You'd be amazed what books you read when you're deployed and you're just sitting there waiting for your time on guard. Well, I got 3 hours for guard. I got no other entertainment. Here, give me this fucking book. I'm going to read this shit. I read some of the worst books in history out there. But yeah, no. See, Guardian Sage. Oh, giving James some stuff. You're late. About time you got here. Hey, he's here. Let him go. Let's see. Lena says, I think the one anime you were talking about was released soon. Demon Lord Child of the Galaxy. I don't know the name. I really don't know the name. I all I know is I saw about 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm just like, guys, really? You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Japanese women, even to a young 10-year-old boy, would strip off their clothes that quickly just to be around this young boy. I'm like, I don't think so. Unless he's 10 years old and he's already hanging down to his knees, maybe they would. But it just, what the, I know fan service and all that, but geez, Louise Mary Francis, you guys gotta be kidding me with this. Let's see. James says, you've convinced me that traveling back in time is probably a bad idea. On that note, I want to say that really depends on the person. If you can mentally handle it, okay, which is not going to be an easy thing to do. If you can mentally handle that far of a time jump, it's not a bad idea. That being said, if you think you're going to go back and just make all this money, you got to remember from the moment you jump in, you have already changed the future. Stocks are not going to move the same way. They'll move similar, but they won't move the same way. So you think you're going to make a killing on a stock market only if you chill out and wait until Amazon becomes a thing and buy all that stuff up or buy up all the Bitcoin, because those were going to come anyway. Excuse me. Oh, hold on a sec, guys. I gotta wet my whistle here. Okay, I even got something to drink. Okay. But again, as long as you can mentally handle it, it's not so bad, because you're going to be able to fix a lot of shit in your life. A lot of us here, myself included, I did some stupid physical shit that I needed surgery to fix. Well, I might need surgery again, but it ain't going to be those. There's certain places a bunch of us went. We wish we never went. We wouldn't go. We tell our friends don't go, and then we'd read it in the paper the next day. So, oh, it's a good thing we didn't went. Yeah, this and that and the other thing happened. Yeah, it's a good thing. You know, you could stop your family from doing stupid investments and stuff like that. But again, you just have to remember everything you have done through your entire life to that point will mean absolutely fuck it all. You know, you know that, yeah, fuck it all. That pill you take, you know, when life gets you down, fuck it all. Take 2 of these and you'll care nothing about anything. Fuck it all. For those that just need to tell the world to go fuck itself. So, yeah, the thing is, if you're going to travel back in time, change one thing, and then travel to the future is going to be completely different. I mean, absolutely completely different. So, well, I shouldn't say completely different, but it'll be very different depending on how far. If you only time travel like 3 days, who gives a fuck? So, anyway, I personally, when they finally released the time travel technology, I'm doing some skipping, motherfuckers. I'm going out. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to find some shit. I'm going to go find those folks I knew back in the day, and I'm going to see how much they screwed up their life. If anything, I'm going to make them trip and fall in something gooey so that they get grossed out just as much as they gross me out. Okay. On to the next one. Guard says, I think maybe 2 nukes was too much. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but okay. Let's see. Prozac and pancakes. Sorry, I'm half asleep. I'm going to pop off. Good night, everybody. But I'm loving the Cybertronian War series. Well, guess what? There's another one coming out tonight. I'm going to finish it as soon as we're done here. James says, I was talking to someone about that, and they should bring back the MCI correspondence courses. Yeah, why not? Let's see. I look forward to it. Anyway, the thing is, I will say this: if you don't understand, or how do I put this? As far as all the quantum physics that goes into all that, if you don't understand it, you're probably thinking it the right way. Because if, like my professor used to say, if you don't understand quantums, or if you do understand quantum physics, you actually don't understand quantum physics. Because there's always an X factor that's always going to change something. Anyway, Guard is saying, I love playing Bioshock 2, decided to pick it up again, and now I'm doing Minerva's Den, and I'm playing the Subject Sigma. I don't know what that is, which is one of the first 24 successful Big Daddies, like Subject Delta. Okay, the only thing I know about Bioshock is some lady loses the end of her finger, and there's like 10,000 million more of her. It's kind of, it's weird. Now, have I actually looked into it? No, I have not. There might be some time travel and fourth dimension stuff that might be very interesting, but I never got into it. Main reason, when that stuff was coming out, I was going overseas and I didn't see a video game for months. Let's see. Guard says the next exciting manga. The Demon Lord finds out he has AIDS, and now his mission is to find the SOB and gave it to him. That would actually be funny. Oh shit. Oh man. Oh that. Oh shit. They can play that. That's funny. Wow. Wow. Just wow. Now the kicker is if that happens to a Demon Lord male, yeah, he's gonna go hunting for the motherfucker. If that happened to a Demon Lord female, they would end the entire planet. It's just the way it goes. I mean, don't get me wrong. Demon Lord male will still end an entire city, probably an entire coastline if he wants. Let's see. Lenin says, if the church is hunting you down for heresy, you know you time traveled too far. I wouldn't want to go back that far, honestly. I might go back far enough to see my grandfather when he was young, but that's about it. Lena says there are several Cybertronian wars as far as I know. Yep. And that's the ones I mentioned before. There's the main war. There was the one on Earth. There's a couple more skirmishes on Earth. I haven't touched about the ones yet when out there in the ether that stretched all the way across through different space bridges. And as you know, I can't actually say space bridge in that series, or else I risk catching some sort of God damn it. Copyright crap. It is what it is. But you are right. There are several Cybertronian wars in several different areas of the universe at the same time. The problem is a lot of the Cybertronian wars actually ended because the Rust Plague. If you don't know about the Rust Plague, it was basically a common cold for them. That's how easy they could catch it. And since they're robotic, it would rust their entire bodies and they would literally fall apart like leprosy. But it was a hell of a lot faster. And definitely, as soon as you got it, you had two choices: either remove the limb it's attached to or die within a couple of days. Very gruesomely and very painfully, by the way. So, yeah. That's actually the reason why Cybertron actually destroyed almost all of its space bridges, because they didn't want anybody bringing it back. Let's see. MCI Marine Corps Institute classes on stuff like Better Corporal to rewrite or replumb your house. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Or rewire. Yeah, that's actually something they should definitely bring. I think that should be mandatory training in schools. But they won't do that because just like UConn, that's not too far away from here, used to be a school where people actually were smart when they left. It was a place where you think, oh, somebody graduated from UConn, they must know what they're doing. Now they say, oh, you came from UConn, that party school, that one that the only people they give a fuck about is the basketball and the football, and the rest of the freaking entire campus can go fuck itself because they don't learn anything. That school, yeah, piss right the fuck off. Again, it's people aren't doing the right thing, and it shows because all they're doing is following the money and they're shooting themselves in the foot when they do it. Okay, Douglas says, if you travel to the past and do something, you have changed the future and created a new timeline and a new dimension. In the multiverse theory, yes. If you stick with an only linear timeline itself, when you jump back, if say you jump from 2025 to 2001 and you stop the planes from crashing. Okay, great. But you jump back and then you realize that within that 20-year gap, you had a car accident and you're a paraplegic now. Well, congratulations. As soon as you jump back, it's going to happen to you. All those memories are going to snap in. Now, is that actually what's going to happen? I don't think so. There's nothing that tells me that all the memory is going to snap in. However, that being said, that was one of the things when I wrote the character for the DC universe. I was challenged to do it, by the way, guys. I'm not putting this one on paper, at least not yet. I might later, but he actually dimensionally jumps. And if he jumps into a dimension where he used to live, all the memories slam into his head. And you'll know that happens because he just kind of stands there for a couple, just like, what? as his brain's trying to process everything, 20, 30, 40 years worth of memories in less than a second. It's going to fuck you up pretty good. But yeah, hold on. If you listen to the whole thing with John Teeter, he talks about world lines, and that right there, Doug, is what you're talking about. That's why you don't want to travel too far back. If I could go back and change like one or two things, and they're not that far back, maybe about 15, 16 years. No, actually 12 years now. Yeah, I would. Let's see. Lena says there's an anime about a Sailorman becoming recruited as a demon world to be one of the agents. It's pretty good. Yeah, the anime or the manga was pretty good too. I only got about maybe 10 chapters in, right about the time he confessed to the other demon general, where he didn't realize that her showing off all that skin was actually a sign of how powerful she is, because the more powerful in magic they are, the more their body develops. That's why they wear so little. And he thought she'd look better if she wore a dress and covered herself up a little bit, where she wasn't wearing basically a thong and a tube top, like Ahsoka Tano. And sorry guys if I hurt you on that one, but the thing is, just like Ahsoka Tano, her backstory, her culture makes it work. So yeah. Guard says, I say the funniest part of it is that when you sign a peace treaty with the rest of the world, just to find out. Okay, I think I'm reading this wrong. I say the funniest part of it is that he would sign a peace treaty with the rest of the world just to find them, only to find more people that felt okay. I'm reading this wrong, dude. Okay, peace treaty. Said he would sign a peace treaty with the rest of the world just to find them more people fell victim. Okay, you got me. Okay, he continues with, yes, cosmic rust. That's exactly what Sentinel used to kill Ironhide in Transformers 3. That, I think, was a shit thing that they did. They did Ironhide dirty. Not only did it look absolutely nothing like the original, which honestly annoyed the piss out of me. When they did that in the Bumblebee movie and they brought back the original designs, even though I didn't watch that movie because I didn't want to watch any woke garbage, I was just like, yes, finally that part they got right. And everything I do in mine is also based on the original as well. But yeah, the Ironhide there, that was just, it was a bad design. It didn't sound like him. It didn't act like him. No. Well, the only way it acted a little bit like Ironhide was a badass, but he was more, I want to go and start busting Deceptor chops, Anyways, let's see. Guard again says, although Sentinel in that movie was heavily enhanced to eat away. Oh, Sentinel's weapon in that movie was heavily enhanced to eat away at the body in minutes. Why? Because it was a Cybertronian bioweapon. Ooh, because of yeah, Cybertronian bioweapon. Yeah, that's horrific. Any bioweapon is bad. Let's see. Douglas says, every time I talk about something sensitive, this video collapses and I have to bring it back up. Really? Okay. If it's having trouble, then I might end this soon. Lena says, yeah, she thinks she wants to propose. That he wants to propose, and he's actually just gives her several gifts. Yeah. The whole premise of that show is to present things so that you can see that there's different cultures and different ways that each cultures handle things, which is really good, because as soon as you start understanding that different cultures do not have the same values, you are finally on your way to understanding how the world actually is, not how you want it to be, but how it is. And honestly, there are certain cultures around this world I would, if given the option, I'd nuke off the fucking map. But it's not up to me. There are other cultures which I would love to bring back, but they're gone. They're done. It's a shame. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Douglas saying, I think I'm pissing off the powers that be. May the powers that be compel you. Anyways. Erica says, I'll be keeping you in my prayers for the surgery stuff. My mom could use some prayers for her health too. Oh, fuck. In that case, everybody, if you can, raise your glasses. And here's hoping Erica's mom makes a good recovery and gets through whatever is ailing her at the moment. I don't have any specific details, and I'm not asking for any either. But here's to you. Okay, Demon jumping in on the whole thing I believe Lean is talking about. He says, I like that anime. I've been watching that one. Just got to work. Thank God I'm not late. Yeah, don't want to be late. Douglas says, hope all who need surgery comes through with flying colors. Yeah, all I can say is afterwards, it's all about the maintenance. All about that. We had one of my brother's hay customers. He had a double hernia surgery last year. And I gave him all the pointers I could, and he healed a good month faster than I did. And he's older than me. So, stuff that I should have been told, and here you go. And yep, everybody's wishing Erica's mom's well. And yes, I am too. I mean, surgery sucks. I know it's required. And just like I was going to put, and I got the audio, guys. I just haven't finished the video of the frequency healing. And in there, it's right in the beginning. It says, will this make doctors obsolete? Will this get them fired? Absolutely freaking not, because we still need people to perform surgeries. Even if you say found somebody with a mass and you killed the mass so it's not malignant, you still have to get the mass out. And that is what it is, folks. It just is what it is. So anyway, still waiting for a few more things to come in. If not, we're going to be ending soon. So, be ready for the rest of the Cybertronian Wars, the name of it. I really don't think it's going to end the Cybertronian Wars, because then they wouldn't have a comic, would they? Anyways, yeah. Okay, let's see. Doug says, by the way, I had a pre-canned model mold burned off by cold spray, and so far I'm all clean. One mass was removed about 4 years ago, and another burnt off with cold spray. Yeah. You'd be surprised what actually hot and cold will actually do. They don't usually use hot because that'll damage a whole lot more. Cold is surprisingly more precise. I know we had what was it? Some female came into into the office. Wasn't my office. She wanted to join the service, and one of her hands had like 7 warts on it. And they're like, you can't even put gloves on. So you got to go get that taken care of. She came in like 2 weeks later. I mean, yeah, you could see little dots on there because she wasn't smart enough to keep rubbing the vitamin E on it, but it worked. And she got in no problems. And okay. Well, it looks like everybody is pretty much done for the night. So I'm going to be done. I'm going to go and I'm going to put some caffeine in my system. And I'm going to finish the audio for Chapter 8 of the Cybertronian Wars. And you guys will get that again, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So before I go, just remember, here's your safety brief. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat his ass. All right. If your little soldier is going in the mush, make sure he wears his poncho. And above all else, right now, the roads are shit. Be very careful. Okay? when Karma and Murphy get together, it can be a really bad day for you. So make sure you pay attention on the roads. If it looks like it might be slick, just can believe it is and slow down if anything else, because I've almost gotten ended because of black ice. My nephew just crashed his truck because of freaking ice. We don't need that shit, folks. We don't need the extra bills. We don't need the extra pains. And also, one last thing, Erica, I hope your mom pulls through and does all this stuff is going to work out in her favor. Aside from that, folks, this has been Syntext, and I hope you had fun tonight. I know I did. And I'll see you next time. This is your host, punching out.